What really happened when Iranian missiles hit the heart of Israel? Why did this attack feel so much more dangerous than before? Iran has launched another wave of ballistic missiles into Israeli territory, but there is something different and much more worrying. For the first time, Iran has used an unusual type of warhead. Cluster warhead, a weapon that releases dozens of submunitions into a wide and random target area. This is not just a missile attack. This is a signal that modern warfare is changing shape. And what is more surprising is that Israel's most sophisticated air defense system seems unable to deal with it. Iran seems to have studied in great detail how Israel's air defense system works over the past decade. Layered systems such as Iron Dome, David's Sling, and Arrow 3 are indeed often praised as the forefront of modern defense technology, but like many other man-made systems, this system has fundamental weaknesses, and Iran has managed to identify them. The system is designed to intercept major threats that come one by one: short-range missiles, attack drones, or long-range ballistic missiles. But what they did not prepare for was a scenario where one missile carries dozens of small submunitions spread widely simultaneously and targets civilian areas from various directions randomly. This is the weak point that makes Israel's defense system look overwhelmed. More than that high reliance on high-tech systems, it seems not yet, along with adapting to new tactics, Israel has long invested heavily in technical solutions, but this time it is faced with an unconventional threat that existing solutions cannot fully address. Criticism has emerged from within the country about the need for a more flexible approach to national defense. In an attack they dubbed Operation True Promise 3, Iran launched more than 150 ballistic missiles at various parts of Israel in two coordinated waves. The main targets were not only military facilities, but also logistics centers, civilian infrastructure, and densely populated areas such as Beersheba, Ashkelon, and the outskirts of Tel Aviv. Of great concern was the use of cluster warhead missiles that release dozens of submunitions as they approach their targets. One of the sites significantly affected was the Soroka Medical Center in Beersheba, the largest hospital in southern Israel. Several submunitions reportedly hit parking areas and medical support facilities. The Israeli government stated that there were no casualties in the attack, but various citizen video footage, local medical reports, and international media documentation indicate serious injuries and even several deaths that were not immediately officially disclosed. This raises concerns about the accuracy of the information provided to the public. In the hours following the attack, official statements by the Israeli government and military changed from saying there was no significant damage to saying there was no finally admitted that there was minor damage to civilian facilities. Photos and reports on the ground indicate a greater impact than stated. This has raised criticism of the transparency of information, although the government argues that it was done to maintain the psychological stability of the Israeli people. Claims to have successfully intercepted a number of missiles with the ERO and David's Sling systems, but their effectiveness is limited when facing cluster submunitions that are numerous and fall at various points. Some analysts say that Israel's air defense is designed to intercept strategic threats, not saturation attacks consisting of many small components. These submunitions spread too widely and too quickly to be handled effectively by radar systems and interceptor missiles. In this situation does not mean that Israel's defense system has failed, but rather reflects that the challenges on the modern battlefield are constantly changing. Unusual threats require adjustments to systems and a more adaptive approach. The United States firmly supports Israel and states that Iran has crossed the line. The White House has warned that they will considering a military response if escalation continues. On the other hand, Russia has called for a ceasefire and offered a diplomatic path. European countries are divided, some support de-escalation measures while others remain neutral. China has so far not commented directly, but some analysts have suggested it may play an indirect role in the technology supply chain. The global response shows the complexity of regional geopolitics, where strategic interests often influence the tone of diplomacy. Despite many countries calling for peace, concrete steps towards de-escalation remain elusive. Iran's move to use cluster warhead missiles is considered a form of asymmetric warfare. They do not rely on the large volume of conventional missiles, but maximize the impact of a single missile by spreading the submunitions across strategic points. The production cost of these missiles is relatively low compared to Israeli interceptor missiles, which can reach millions of dollars per unit. This gives Iran an advantage in terms of attack efficiency and the logistical burden that Israel must bear in defending its territory. In this context, Iran shows that strategy and tactical innovation can be as important a force as technological superiority. This attack shows that modern air defense systems still have limitations. The cluster warheads used by Iran show how new threats can emerge from gaps that have so far been considered uncritical. On the other hand, the global reaction shows that this situation is not only concerns two countries, but also has an impact on regional stability and the world's geopolitical balance. Whether this will continue into a bigger conflict or become a moment of reflection to evaluate the direction of military and diplomatic policies in the region, all of that still depends on the response of each party. In the next few days in a conflict like this, the accuracy of information on defense readiness and the ability to read the dynamics of the battlefield will be the determining factor whether a country can survive or lose its strategic advantage. This video is presented for educational and informational purposes based on facts and balanced analysis. We do not promote hate violence or hate speech against any group. This content respects YouTube's policy on hate speech, violent and provocative content, and misleading information, references YouTube policies and laws related to YouTube community guidelines, Indonesian Electronic Information and Transactions Law, and the International Convention on Human Rights. Thanks for watching.